and the chat. Um, okay. Hi everyone. It's it's our meeting for the 15th chapter in the do4dsd book club. So we're gonna review the enterprise networking chapter. It was a very small chapter, and I think it kind of like reviews everything that we've been talking about. So I guess it's gonna go very fast. So for our learning objective, we want to understand enterprise networking terminology, list some of the benefits of private networks and proxies, and also recognize some of the issues with the inbound and outbound proxies. So the way that we learn about IP addresses and also about domains and about HTTPS in the last in our last three sessions. And like what the book says is that, well, that that is like some aspects of how like big enterprises work, but it's not everything. So in a company, like not every server will have a public ID and not every server will be accessible from everywhere. So how the way that enterprise networking works is that companies will have a private subnet inside their network, and that's where all of their servers are gonna live. So that way, only the machines that are inside the subnetwork are able to talk to each other directly, but everyone else needs to go through a proxy so that they can be able to hit those servers. And in AWS, those networks are called virtual private clouds. So yeah, like everything goes through a proxy. Even like the computers from people that belong to the same company, and they can be like physically inside the same building and everything, but they will still go through a proxy to talk to the servers. And we have like two directions for this traffic. One is the inbound, and that will mean like a computer or a laptop or whatever, like trying to talk to the server, trying to talk to the host. And outbound will be the traffic that goes out of the private network. And the book mentions that they are actually like the correct way to call these proxies are reverse proxy when they are getting the inbound traffic, and forward proxy when they have to like deliver traffic outside the private network. And yeah, like I think as an inbound example, the book only gave like, yeah, a laptop trying to hit a server. That's kind of the only way that inbound traffic will reach the private network. And then as an output, well, the servers they're gonna need resources, so they might want to talk to different APIs, or talk to some other servers, or they might try to install packages and everything. So that's kind of the outbound the outbound traffic that is gonna be accessible through the forward proxies. And what I don't know, and I didn't think about it when I was reading through the chapter. I guess a single proxy can be like a single physical proxy can be a reverse proxy and a forward proxy. I don't know if you know that, Arthur. Or... Hmm.
I don't. That's a really interesting question. I watched a video, or was starting to watch a video recently that kind of touched on this.
Mhm.
If I can find that, maybe I'll pass it along because it might clarify that point.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah, thank you. Because I don't think like, also, like how many? Like how many proxies will a single network, a single private network will usually have? Like, do they is there only one and they just like they serve all of the traffic, or do any like server should have its own proxy? Yeah, that's something that I have no
I'm
idea.
starting to understand why there's a networking team in the
Yes.
IT department.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, we're starting to understand why the IT department it's important. Yeah. So, well, yeah, let's say that like we can talk about the proxies as are like more like a logical entity instead of like the actual physical things. Mm, Okay, so then why do big companies or enterprises use these private networks? Because like it is easier to deal with security issues, because then just like the proxies are the ones that are getting all the traffic from the outside, and I mean that means attack. I mean that means like regular traffic, but also attacks and everything else. Then they also can use private IP addresses internally, because I don't uh yeah, I don't remember if we talk about this. Like there are there are a finite number of IP addresses using IPv4, and yeah, like having a public IP address is expensive. Like companies have to buy them. So what they will usually do is that they will assign private IP addresses inside the network for the different machines. I don't know. For instance, uh, um a printer can have a private IP address, and that's how like if you just want to like, print a document, you will talk to the printer using the private IP address, because you're both inside the same private network. And I forgot the ranges for private IP ranges. Hmm. Okay, so they go from 10,000 to 10. Okay, so it just all the tens and then the 172s and the 196. No, 192s. I thought 196 also, but no, 192s. Okay, so these are the ranges that computers will usually have inside those private networks. And then like yeah, like the same computer in two different private networks can have the same private IP address, because it doesn't matter, 'cause they're not going to talk to each other directly. They're always going to go through the proxy. Also, like it's easier to route traffic to specific servers. Like they just have all the management and the rules and everything they need to actually work. It's easier to manage ports, and they also like they can block traffic from unwanted sources, and they also can handle authentication through the proxies and pass tokens or headers. And but that also, I mean, they have, of course, their advantages, but they can have issues when their configuration is not correct. So the issues with inbound proxies that the book talks about, I mean, again, inbound means we are trying to talk to a server. And yeah, something that the book mentions is that the port configuration is critical. Like so proxies should have like should allow traffic through going through these ports that are gonna like be hitting some specific services. For instance, the databases, or the or I don't know if someone is running a studio server in a server. So the proxies should have these ports open, so that the people outside the network can actually use the services. Mm, and and the book also mentioned that sometimes when there are problems, it will be because the application that we're trying to use expects to be able to redirect the traffic back to itself, but somehow it can't. It can't. And and I didn't get it completely, or I can't think about a specific example for that. Hmm. So I don't know, like again, if we're using our studio server and we go to the server and then uh it it tries to download a new package. So we will have to go, I guess, yeah, I don't know if like through itself, but like through the proxy. Mm, yeah, I don't let me copy that specific.
What about something like if you had a Shiny app or something like that, and you were there interactions that sent signals back to.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. 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 No. Yeah. You're right. Yeah. I think. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. With shiny apps, that would be. That's a very good example. Okay. So yeah.
Although I
That
guess in
would.
that case it would, I guess, be like the browser that that would be sending traffic back to our studio server.
Yes, but then like our studio server, like trying to, if it tries to, or the shiny app, if it tries to call an API, make an API call, it has to like go through itself. Uh, or
Oh,
it has to be able to yeah, to answer the user requests.
I see.
Mm, yeah.
Yes, like you push a button, it's like a get request or something like that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, or for instance, with the upload or and download files, because the book says, yeah, the application might run, but then if something is misconfigured, you won't be able to do some specific task, and it could be that like uploading a package and then, or sorry, uploading a document and then the app, if it's not configured correctly, it wouldn't know what to do with that uh, with that mm, with that file. Or for instance, if he has to go through, if he has to make a request to a database, then if it's not configured well, it might not ever reach the database or something like that. And yeah, and it gives signs that you might be fighting against an inbound proxy if the uploads or the downloads fail, or they cut off early, or if your session keeps sending and you need to log back in. Mm, yeah. And I mean, and as a user, I don't think there's anything you can do with if you find like something that is not working well in one of those applications inside a private network, because yeah, that's the IT department's
Unless
problem.
you own the whole stack, right? You know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And okay, and issues with outbound proxies. So the outbound proxies are the ones that manage the connection from the server to the internet. And the book says that these issues are like rarer than inbound. And the air gapping thing means that mm, strong outbound proxy. And I don't know. I kind of remember like when I guess a time like when we were in high school, our computers weren't able to. I don't know. I don't think it was Facebook, but like something else. Like we couldn't enter some web pages, and I guess that will be something configured in the proxy that you're just not allowed to reach. Mm, and
Or if you have some weird stuff that gets injected as like headers on your outbound stuff, and it triggers like some kind of filter. Or alternatively, like I don't know, this would be another case, but In some enterprise settings, I think this is my loose understanding, like they inject something in the headers of everything that's outbound, and then
Okay.
maybe the thing that you're trying to reach doesn't expect that.
Oh,
So it wouldn't be so much like an outbound proxy rule as it would be that the
like a
that
filter.
the server outside of your network doesn't expect whatever, has been injected in the header of your request.
Okay. And that way they don't like that, and that way they prevent you to hit that server, because then okay, the server will be
Yeah.
like, I don't know what to do
Yeah,
with
for
that.
me, like one issue I face is I can't I can't reliably I'm trying to well anyway, let me just say it short, even though I'm maybe inaccurate. Is like I love Pack, but I can't use Pack. In the
Mm.
sense that there's something that I don't fully understand. I've raised an issue on this from the Pack repo, but basically when you're behind a corporate firewall and there's kind of there's a rule about hitting HTTP,
Yeah.
like servers with HTTP.
Hmm.
There's one check where I think they check for something in was it what is it, bioconductor? I
Hmm.
like that package repo.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, the way that Pack hits bioconductor, it so it seems like two things are true. Like number one, like it hits it as an HTTP endpoint,
Hmm. Hmm.
and then for whatever reason, it doesn't seem to follow the redirect. So if I go to that same website in the browser, I guess it redirects me to HTTPS, but with I guess because of the way like curl is being used under the hood, it doesn't follow the
Hmm.
redirect, and then I'm left hitting HTTP, and then like where yeah, like somehow like that doesn't get resolved, and then the download thing breaks, right? So
Oh no. Okay. Hmm.
that's another. I don't even know if that falls. Maybe this is just a weird thing. It doesn't quite fall into this bucket, but that's I guess one of those cases where like your traffic goes to the outside world and then it
It
fails,
just,
right?
yes. Yeah. Yeah. No, like now
It's
that you,
not the proxy that's filtering it, I think. It's something, it's like I don't know, like a network rule or so. I don't even know how to characterize it.
yeah, yes, it might be, yeah, it might be like a network rule. I wanted to show you because we, so for the Python environment, we Anaconda is like a private, it, I'm not sure how it works. Like you can use Conda Forge and they will have all of the open source packages, but if you use Anaconda, like that's a big no because that's a private thing, and like you could still use it because I think it's free, but as a like as I guess like institutes or schools or wherever they started like setting up some rules, because then like you're not a single user, and everyone like as an institution we're not supposed to use the packages from Anaconda. So what they did, and even though we were using Conda Forge and you will set up the channels and ask to never hit Conda base and only use Conda Forge and Bioconda, and those are the open source ones, they was still needed to like kind of make a, I don't know, a request directly to anaconda.org. So it was like fail after fail after, I mean, we couldn't do it. And what the IT department did is I'm not sure, but I had to configure something, and yeah, I should have seen what I changed in the configurations. But they asked us to like go through a proxy or a firewall. Also, what will be the differences between a proxy and a firewall?
I
That
don't know.
would be another one. Yeah, so we had to change something in the configuration and then like to be able to get to create conda environments and packages. But yeah, I guess those will be examples of either like misconfiguration or just rules that the IT department sets. And yeah, we kind of
I
had
mean, I
to.
guess this is maybe the one motivation then for things like posit. package manager or basically services that enable you to provision packages
Yeah.
behind a firewall or like
Hmm.
behind like within your like private subnetwork, right? Or your private network. That way you don't have to go to the internet. Um, I know that we're starting to use, and this is in a different sphere, but probably it'll come to data science type stuff soon. Um, JFrog, which I wasn't familiar with until recently, using something called Artifactory. So I think it's from what little I think I understand, I think basically you have this like curated set of packages that are
Hmm.
made available, um, and that I guess you're approved to use. And if something's not on the list, you can't use it. Um, and if something's on the list, it's provisioned through that service, um, which I guess I get and don't get. And then
Yeah.
for open source projects, it's particularly problematic if you want to have contributors because but by construction, they don't have access to your like internal internally facing curated set of packages, right? Um,
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. That. Yeah. Mhm. And also, like, not. Yeah, I guess that's a good example, but also like all of these, like, yeah, all the no infrastructure, like platform as a service, because then like yeah, like Posit Connect again, because then you don't have to manage any of these, and then like yeah, the application is just gonna like run and be able to call whatever it needs to call because it's running inside their private network. You don't have to worry about that. So yeah, there are tons of layers, tons of layers in this. And I guess that's the last slide. I didn't add the videos for from the last thing. Mm, yeah, it was a pretty short one, right?
yep, pretty short. I was
Mm,
as you at some point I quickly Googled and if AI summaries are to be believed, it seems like can you have a single proxy server serve as both like a forward and reverse proxy? I think
mhm.
technically yes, but I think it's one of those you probably shouldn't want to.
Okay,
Is my quick read on this because it would just complicate um, it would complicate configuration. Is my read on that.
okay.
I could be wrong. I should probably read a bit more, but yeah.
Mm, maybe we can read like go through the
Sure,
comprehension.
sure, sure.
Uh, okay, so where it says, what is the advantage of adopting a more complex networking setup over a server deployed directly on the internet? Hmm. Yeah, well, I guess security is it's a really big one, right? Hmm. But then other than security, I mean, we talk about the using the private IP addresses and mm,
I mean, maybe in terms of setup, if everything is inside of kind of a secured network, then maybe you don't have to do what we were talking about last time. We don't have to have you don't have to provision a TLS SSL certificate for everything. Like basically your internal traffic could just be
yeah.
HTTP. It could be plain text because it's inside of a secure network.
Yes.
I guess. I
Yeah.
don't know if that's best practice or not, but it seems like you could get away with that, so it's maybe less work.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yes. Yeah, and also like I'm sure they have like the proxies are can add like a token for or something like to be able hmm, to identify the where the traffic going out come from, and then like they will know like what are the requests from every single computer. So yeah. Mm. Okay, so the
And then I
mental
guess
map.
authentication, or no, wait, never mind. I was gonna think of like authentication, but that's maybe next
I
chapter.
I think that. Oh
Yeah,
yes,
that's
yes,
next
yeah,
chapter.
that's the next one. Okay, it says here are a few examples of traffic. Are they outbound, inbound, or within the network? Okay, so someone connecting to and starting a session on our studio server. So yeah, that will be inbound, right?
That would be
Mm,
my understanding, but I could be wrong.
mhm. Someone SFTPing an app and packages from our studio server to Shiny server. I guess if they are both in the same network, that would be within the network.
Yeah,
But
that was what I was thinking.
yeah, right. And but if the Shiny server it's outside that private network, that will be because yeah, they can have multiple private networks too, right? Like enterprise could have like multiple private
Yeah,
networks.
yeah, I guess so. I guess so.
Okay, someone
And S
installed.
SFTP, is that's secure FTP? That's what that is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
So in this case, I guess it would be like basically downloading the tarball or something like that for the package.
Mm-hmm.
Secure file transfer protocol. Okay. So it is FTP. Okay. What SSH is the regular
With
connections. Okay.
yeah. Uh, Yeah, and I guess yeah, in that case they make kind of like a tunnel from the file transfer protocol to protocol 22 and it goes through SSH. Hmm. Okay, yeah, someone installing a package to the Shiny server. So that would be hmm,
That would be outbound traffic because I guess you'd be like requesting it from package manager
yeah, yes.
or like a package repository rather.
Yeah, and like from the Shiny server, like from the Shiny server to someone else, like yeah, yeah, to somewhere else, like getting the package. Okay,
Yep.
yeah,
If you assume the package is from like a public package repository.
yes, yeah, sure. Then someone uploading a file to Jupyter Hub. I
I'm
guess
not
that
sure
would.
I know what Jupyter Hub is exactly.
No, hey.
So it's kind of like for hosting notebooks, I
I guess,
guess.
yeah, I guess it looks like. Um,
Uploading a file to Jupyter Hub. Feels inbound to me, but
I guess it will also like it will no. I are we always talking like from the server side? Because yeah, like this
yeah,
will be. Because this will be, yeah, like inbound from the server,
server side, yeah.
outbound from the user. Right? Okay, a call in a Shiny app using here to or requests to a public API that hosts the data.
Outbound.
Yes, yeah. Outbound and outbound, but like the request from the Shiny, yeah, for it first has to go to a proxy and then outbound. Yeah, yeah,
And then the response would be inbound.
yeah. Okay, then said accessing a private corporate database from a Shiny for Python app using SQL Alchemy. I guess this will be within the network, right?
I guess it depends. But yeah, it seems like that would probably be within the network.
Yeah, because yeah, I'm guessing that if the author added the private corporate, then it means it's the same.
Well, would I mean, even if it's still on the same private network, would this still be considered um, outbound traffic?
I guess it would only be considered if it's outbound if it hits the proxy, right? If it.
Yeah,
But,
so if like this like for example, the corporate database had a
mhm,
proxy sitting in front of it that would
yeah. But they all need to hit the proxy because then the proxy needs to know where to forward those packages. Yeah.
uh,
Hmm. Okay, and the last one said, what are the most likely pain points for running a data science workbench that is fully offline or air gapped? Um, yeah, you won't be able to install any package. You won't be able to yeah to do anything.
Yeah, or everything for like Shiny. I don't quite know how they orchestrate this behind the scenes, but
Hmm?
you, like when you create a Shiny app, you're getting a lot of. I feel like it must be hitting some content delivery networks. So like depending on how you do it, if it's just vanilla Shiny, are are all of the JavaScript is all the JavaScript and CSS is that in the inst folder of Shiny, or does it fetch it from someplace? Um,
Mm,
for BSlib, I think I think they're fetching stuff from the Bootstrap CDN, if I'm not mistaken.
okay.
So in those cases,
Yeah.
if I guess that would be just like another case of if you need something from the outside world and the package expects that you can get stuff from the outside world, then you're going to be out of luck. Or
Yes.
you need to come up with some alternate strategy of, I guess, side loading all of the dependencies.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, like no, like, yes, no, since the beginning, where are you gonna install and just like provide everything? And that sounds, yeah, I don't think anyone does that.
I don't know. I mean, I think this is kind of like a starting point for some stuff. Like, I was trying to get some infrastructure at work, and
Mhm.
like one option was I could get a Red Hat server, but it's not connected to the internet.
Oh
So
no.
so I was just wondering, it's like what's the point of that? I mean, I guess the point is it's maybe a sensible starting point in the sense that, like, imagine you had the other starting points, like, yeah, you just access anything on the internet. That's probably opening up a whole can of worms for security.
Yeah.
Um, but then on the other side of things, it's kind of inconvenient to start from such a the polar opposite end of being so safe that you can't access, you can only access it while you're on the network, and then the
Yeah.
the instance can't can't connect to the internet.
Yes. Yeah. Hmm. I was trying to think of another example. There was this time when we had data on a server that no, but I think no, we went through Google Cloud. Hmm. No, but yes, no, you're right. It sounds weird, like getting a server and being like, oh no, you're not able to connect to anywhere. But I guess yeah, if they just provide you like a way to get your data in and then install whatever you need, and that's it and
Yep,
for an
yep.
analysis. Hmm?
And then I was basically the IT was saying, it's like, yeah, you can just using like your remote connection, you can just upload files, just
Yeah.
take your executables and put them in the right spot. And I was like, that sounds awful.
It
Um,
sounds awful. Yes, it sounds awful. Mm, okay, so I'm gonna type stop and I